Yeah.
All right, guys, moving on. Joe Biden,
Yes.
our president
Yeah,
of
he
the
had a
United
busy
States. He had a very busy night. Charlemagne said he was wondering, like, what did they have to do how many naps did they have to take, him and Nancy Pelosi, before the State of the Union, because it was kind of late for them. But he did.
He's the president of the United States, and older people really don't sleep that much. But continue. Sorry,
Yeah,
I just, not a bad way.
Yeah, you don't
I just
like
want
the
to make
ageism
sure.
talk.
Yeah, it's not even ageism talk. It's just like like when
It was
you're
ugly
around
watching
older
cinema.
people, sometimes they get up at hella early. Do they take a nap in the day? Maybe, but really, we all should be taking naps throughout the day.
That's true.
Yeah.
So he did provide
Biden
a State
don't
of the
give us the
Union.
luxury.
There was a lot of highs. There was a lot of lows. Well, not a lot of lows, according to some people. Republicans called him an angry old man. What did you guys think of Joe Biden's State of the Union address?
It wasn't terrible. It got bad. It started out. They had me in the first half. Because he was cooking in the beginning a little bit. He was throwing jabs. He was talking mess, and I was like, okay, what they got? Biden got that strong Starbucks coffee today. He woke up pro-Israel. Like, he woke up aggressive today. I like it. It kind of we know when it started going a little downhill.
Yeah. I feel like open was strong. I thought his close was really strong too.
Okay.
Because I think he did stumble. He did mess up a little bit.
So
And
what
he-
Definitely not as much as I thought he
So
would.
let's go. So explain what wasn't strong. What did you guys? What was the good points? What was the great points?
First thing, like, he started off like 40 minutes just walking around talking to people.
Oh, that's what it was.
I was like,
how was that 2 hours?
Yeah, because I was watching. I was like, boy, I gotta work.
Well,
Can
it's
you-
the president.
Can you hurry up?
It's the president. They probably saying, "Hey, you gotta sign my bill."
Hey, Marjorie, you gonna
Okay.
But-
Didn't they have a bill? I don't know what the hell that was just all about. Like,
It was
it
a
was
lot.
just too
It was a
much. It
lot.
was giving very much like, if I was the president, can y'all block this bitch when I'm walking through? Like, be for real.
So did y'all see how he looked at her? When
yeah,
she-
it
when
was
he
funny
came?
as hell.
That was hilarious.
This is why I feel like America, like, reality is just a sitcom at some point.
That was
Bro,
funny.
yeah.
This is like a priceless moment in American history. I'm telling you.
It sounds like a sitcom too. You got moderators and everything.
Do you see this? Look at he was like, oh.
Got the Trump hat and all.
Oh.
That's a big.
And
old
she
hat.
could even she had to smirk too, like she even had to smirk and be like,
You have to
look, bro, like
look at her hiding behind a black woman.
That was hella funny.
But yeah, he started off strong. I think he did a lot of strong points. Some good things that I think he did mention. We can start off good.
Yeah, let's start with good.
Some
Let's
good
start
things
with
that
good
he
because-
mentioned was lowering the tax disparity between what corporations pay and what the average person pays.
Okay.
Because he did take a lot of time to note how much corporations do take advantage of people, and saying that he did want to limit that, especially when talking about healthcare as well.
Yes.
So I will give him props for that. He did a little seasoning of shouting out indigenous people as well.
Yeah.
So shouts out for that.
Black
As
people too. But
what else did he do good?
he talked about
did.
John Lewis and the Selma March, but he really didn't talk about black
Yeah,
people.
you saw how fast they panted them black people standing up.
Right.
They said,
I know. I'm just telling you, that's what was hella funny to me as far as like who was on the cameras and supposed to be showing people. Because then he was also talking about like hostages, which that's the part that I think we should talk about, because I think it's just very interesting, kind of how the administration is trying to change how it's explaining its involvement with Israel and like
you went
obviously.
straight to the bad.
Oh, I mean, I think
said
it's
Texas
bad.
was
I'm just
cool.
saying. Well, let me just say that I think it's just, I find it interesting. Let me just note that, like, I just find how people speak and how a message is conveyed just very interesting to me, and how the shift slowly starts to happen, and why is there a shift? So I say that because I feel like when it comes to Gaza and obviously the aid that America sent, or videos that they had of people literally like, I didn't even finish the video, but like killing people who were literally trying to get food to like survive, because obviously they're going after Hamas, whatever they continue to say that. But there's so many people who are being impacted, children, like women,
30,000.
families. Like, it's just, to me, it's just insane. And like seeing that footage that was leaked, or however they got the footage, and then thinking and knowing kind of like what the president has seen, or what, the government has seen of like what's really going on in Israel, and then continue to give them funding for it. But at the same time saying, oh, we're going to provide aid and be like this savior, so that I just found it very interesting, and I found it very, especially like I said, the turning part I would say was like videos being released, and then like there's been statements saying, "Oh, Israel saying this is the pathway to take," and then they're bombing the pathway. Like it's been like in the media for a while, and you didn't catch on until recently when people are able to tell their stories and it's being validated, like what they're saying in regards to what's really going on. So all of that to say, I think that was a shift. There was a shift when it came to Michigan primaries, or when they did their primaries, I'm assuming, and how many Democrats chose not to vote for Joe Biden. I just think his speech tonight and how he tackled the issue was just very unique and just very interesting, because it seems as if, like, again, America wants to play, oh, we're paying Xavier, and then point to something and put the blame on Israel, but at the same time trying to cover up for the fact that they're giving Israel all of this equipment, and then in the same speech talk about they don't want to give China the same technology. And it's kind of like, well, if I'm Israel and you stop giving me what I want, I'll just go to China, because China, and I don't know, but you know, China and Russia. But I'm just saying, like, and then I think, like, it was just interesting, all of that to say, because I feel like there's not really acknowledging or addressing like the war in Ukraine when that was such a big deal, and how much aid we're sending.
He said how much money he's giving them, how many guns he's giving them.
As much, but he was talking about Israel too. But I'm saying, and he did address it as far as, we need to stop Putin so he doesn't continue. But at the same time, it's just very interesting, because it's kind of like just painting, I don't know how to explain it. It's just painting a picture in regards to like what's really going on in America, trying to still be that military superpower. And I don't know if we don't have that negotiating skill anymore, or, you know, we can't force people to negotiate with us because there's a rise of other powers coming in. So then you see kind of like this complex situation playing out, and like you see like even obviously still shit going on in other parts of the Middle East, but people, and like not people, countries taking advantage of basically the chaos right now. I don't know how to explain it other than that. I mean, it kind of got deep, but like at the same time, it is just interesting. And then you think about him talking about this war and how obviously he's trying to switch the narrative again about America's involvement, but then putting Putin in this horrible like light, which obviously the shit he's doing is actually kind of fucking crazy. But all of that to say, and then talk about how it's influencing like American politics. And I think like right now, I mean, we just saw Leave the World Behind or whatever, but I'm just think right now in a country that I feel is so divided and so many things going wrong, like it is a very dangerous time. And that's all I have to say. Damn, that was a lot to say, but that's really my thoughts on like that situation and noting the change. I thought that's interesting. Like trying to bring it all together for like how I think about it when I see things and what I
leave the Biden. We're stronger and getting stronger according to that man. But like,
according to him,
if you can control the narrative, you can really control how people feel. And if you control how people feel, you control the way they react and behave. And it's like we know that like a large part of Republicans, for example, large part of their policies around their fan base, not fan base. Well, they be fanning out. Yeah. But they're really like their policies are a lot of times fear based. Yeah. So that gets their fan base really riled up. So we know they're voting. But then at the same time, when we're talking about Biden, a large part of the people we need to come vote for him. We need our younger population to come out. Vote. But then at the same time,
he's just not doing what he's doing.
The 20 people under 30, us, we're the ones that also care the most outside of probably more than the older generation about what is going on with Palestine and Israel. So we're probably going to be the ones that are like going to see that and like, okay, well, I don't know if I want to vote for him, as opposed to the older Democratic voters or older voters in general. So like seeing that divide, now it's like, okay, seeing him really go out there and say, we already knew he was pro-Israel, but then for him to go out there and really acknowledge it and say, we're going to go set up a port. Yeah, we're going to go set up a base on the port in Gaza. Meanwhile, we're also going to go continue to bomb and attack one of the only people in Yemen, the Houthis, who we're actually helping. The only people that are providing any aid. We're going to go make sure we continue bombing and sending blockades to allow traffic through the Red Sea. And it's like
so confused.
The one group that has,
I'm sorry.
It's like the one group, the U.S. that has like the power and the authority to completely just halt and stop what's going on. There's like, what Israel's doing is bad. We're going to go and drop off some goods and stuff like that. And we're also going to go continue bombing the niggas that are helping y'all. But it's really, it's messed up what they're doing.
It's messed up, but they just got to be honest. Like, what are you, and I think that's also where with this whole push to tell the truth and for people to be investigated. I think this is a situation where it's just like kind of tell the truth. Like, are you making profit off of all these weapons that you are sending?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yes, it's costing us. But right, so yes, it's costing us, but they're paying us and they're in debt. Like, can you just be a little bit more honest as far as like the reasons and like why America or why, we're investing so much in the war? And I think that's, what they're missing. And then to your point, or what we were talking about, the also switch she can make, and I can see in the future, is that they were helping Israel until it came out what was really occurring in Gaza. And then this is going to be the switch as far as America's involvement. But then like I said, I am just curious, like, what would happen, because isn't Israel a American created country or whatever? I'm trying to remember.
No, I don't know about American.
Like part of the compromises and stuff like
that. One of our
that.
biggest supporters. And he was over there gloating about, he's like, ain't nobody support Israel more than I do. I dare you to try to test me. I was like,
he did say that.
You really riding for him right now. That's crazy. And it's like, Biden shows, he really said how he felt when he was explaining the involvement of what's going on. He said this all started with the attack in October, so completely just dismissing the previous 50, 60 years, starting directly at that attack.
True.
Never saying what provoked it. He calling it a humanitarian crisis, but never saying who started the crisis.
Right.
He's gonna talk about
That's a good point.
October 6th as the most hateful and dramatic event for Israeli people since the Holocaust. But then when he talks about the 30,000 Palestinians that have been killed or displaced, he just says it's a heartbreak.
Millions displaced, but
heartbreak.
Millions. And
that says how he feels right there.
Facts. And I just want to correct my statement. United States was the first country to recognize Israel as an independent state. And so
that's like their like one of our biggest foreign military powers.
Yeah, it was like doing the work. But I just wanted to clarify like why we're going so hard, because we helped other countries recognize Israel as a state. And that's like a big thing, because only states can recognize potential areas to become state. It's really weird with foreign law.
They're trying to be us.
It's really weird.
But it's harder to be us when we got cameras and like people got phones and stuff they can record. It's harder to colonize and complete a genocide of people when they can record it. And we got TikTok and stuff. That's why I tried to go on TikTok.
They're trying to ban it.
And they said, hey, can you call this number? They're trying to ban us. I said, huh?
Oh, yeah, they are.
I'm trying to watch some videos right now.
If TikTok is banned, that's crazy. If you think about it, TikTok is actually, I'm
like, I'm not.
All right, so what did you guys think of him using the word predecessor like 12, 13 times, and him talking about Donald Trump and kind of like attacking him? Yeah, jabbing him.
I think at the end of the day,
did y'all like that?
Is he scared to say his name?
I don't think he's scared to say his name, but he didn't say Barack's name either, though, when he said, I was the first person to work under a black president and first person to work with a woman vice president. He never said like his name, so I don't think that's the case. I don't know why. Maybe he was just trying to hint like, or maybe it was like part of his communication strategy as far as don't even give Trump like recognition, But I think
it was definitely deliberate.
I can see that, but I feel like at the same time he's probably like excuse me, but he's not no president. Like, you're really not a president, so why am I even trying to entertain you as that? Because at the end of the day, I think that's what I was gonna say. The State of the Union, I think he did such a good job because it was a platform after the primaries to actually speak to the American people and put him in a better position to run. And I think this was his biggest moment to
have all those eyes on him and actually have people listen to him.
So it was really important. Like, do you feel that he underperformed or overperformed how people expected him to?
Can I say this? I think that Joe Biden made a very Democratic Party, if you love him, that's the speech for you type of speech. It's a speech. It's going to be a speech that's going to make you feel good. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a speech that's going to make you want to vote for him in November. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a speech that's going to open your eyes to how far off the Republican Party is to just common laws and sanity of their people. Like Mike Scott, you could see him back there like shaking his head to everything Joe Biden was saying. He did stand up when Joe Biden was like, R.I.P. to John Lewis, and I was like, your ass better stand up. But he was looking at Kamala with that side eye. But it's just interesting to see Republicans booing, Republicans interrupting him, Republicans doing all this type of stuff. Like, you guys have to be so far removed from like what the typical American the typical American wants and needs and desires, that we only can go to the Democrats. But then it's like the Democrats still play this game with black people specifically, where they say, oh, you know, come vote for us, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then they be like, hey, it's politics, man, it's politics. So it's just like, what choice do we have? And if you wanted to vote for Joe Biden, I just felt like this speech performed well for the people that are going to be like, okay, we're going to go with Joe Biden.
I mean, I can definitely see kind of what you're talking about. I do feel a little bit different in regards to the Republican leader and like how he was reacting to his speech, because I think it threw me off how many times he kind of was like nodding a little bit, and then if he didn't stand up, he was like clapping in his seat. And I thought it kind of showed, like, at least from where he was at, he was just the more mature side, I guess, of the Republican Party. I don't know. But to your point, it was inappropriate for them to be booing and shouting.
He is the most mature. That's crazy. He is the most mature, but it's kind of like he's talking about he wants to ban, like, automatic weapons. Like, why are y'all not, like, some of y'all are voting against some of the bills that he's talking about. And that's my thing. You're voting against the things that, like, we see these mass shootings all the time. Yeah. This is a real, right. This is a real thing where people are dying, where our kids are dying, where innocent lives are being lost all the time around America. And Republicans are like booing or saying, like, even the border thing. Republicans make this such a big talking point. Shout out to my Mexican niggas out there all the time. Shout out Isaac, I work with you. But let me just tell you, let me just give y'all a scenario.
Not needed.
Let me just give y'all a scenario.
That was kind of questionable, but I'll listen it.
Let me give y'all a scenario.
I'll listen it. Shout out to my nigga Xavier, my one black friend. Yeah, Black Lives Matter.
Anyway, he told me to give him a shout out on the podcast, so I had to throw it in there somewhere. Let me ask you
at the end when you tell people to like and subscribe. I'm just kidding.
So say my niggas that are coming in from Texas or something like that. You're an illegal immigrant in the United States of America. Okay. Let me ask you this: are you more or less likely to commit a crime, knowing that if you get?
Yeah, if you get, I'm listening. I'm following.
Knowing that if you get arrested,
sorry,
less likely.
So
statistically,
I want to say this. Let me get the young lady's name right now. That no. But let me get the young lady's that Lincoln, was it Lincoln Riley or it was something familiar. So let me get the correct name. I think Joe Biden said the name wrong.
I believe,
but let me get the name.
Oh, you're talking about the young lady
that was
Marjorie. Probably told him the wrong name, so he messed up.
Yes. Let me get the young lady's name.
Okay, you can get the name, but like to the point while you're looking that up, I think what you're making and like showing people, like when you look into the politics and to your point, where does the scapegoating kind of come from in the Republican Party to obviously keep the rich and then the poor, but so distracted by race that you don't realize at the end of the day they treating you all, if you're under a certain tax bracket, horribly in the country. But with that being said, they always kind of scapegoat and choose people.
I want to apologize. It's Lincoln Riley, and actually Lincoln Riley's. Oh no, I can't be on them. But anyway, it's Lincoln Riley, and she was killed. Glasses. She was killed by what Joe Biden says illegal.
I thought that was Trump.
That was kind of that was.
He's old, guys. He's
old, but
a nigga too.
He was having flashbacks.
He didn't say nigga
of his youth.
No,
nigger.
He would.
When he started saying that, he forget.
What I'm saying is,
I'm sorry.
There's black people that get killed in some of these cities every single day, and I don't see none of these Republicans wearing their pins and wearing their things. All I'm saying is illegal immigration and what these people do in the that's not a statistic or something that is of the biggest concern when we have black people out here getting shot by the popo and killing each other because we don't have education or means or access to funds that other communities do. So why are you not wearing their pins? Why are you not saying their names when Joe Biden is speaking? You're only talking about something that's a small percentage because those are your talking points.
Yeah, because it fits their narrative.
It fits your narrative.
Yeah.
You Republicans can't get black votes because you're going to get the token black person you're gonna get the token black person that will agree with you or that wants to be, you know, your friend or wants to be accepted by you. So, you know, they're gonna go with your policies. They're gonna say, oh, there's nothing wrong with the world. The world's not racist. They're gonna say that.
Yeah, and nobody wants to be like, oh yeah, they definitely, Republicans definitely wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this is perfect timing.
Right.
We definitely gotta put this together. This is perfect timing.
Right.
That's fucked up. Like, to use somebody's death, R.I.P. All the R.I.P.s in the world, but to use someone's death as just like a way to push
your narrative.
False narrative,
right?
Because it's a false narrative at the end of the day.
Right.
Like you see Trump talking all the time. That's why I thought it was Trump, because Trump always talking about migrant crime, right. And it's like statistically, immigrants or migrants commit like dramatically less crime.
You're not. I'm
like,
trying to survive.
Astronomically less crime.
And
like, why would somebody who is literally afraid to have any interaction with law enforcement at all,
right,
for fear of whatever, fear of being beat or being having to go through ICE, like don't want to have any interaction? Why would they be out here committing crimes, robbing banks,
right,
doing shit, stealing? Right. Like, what are we talking about? But you know who is killing people and going to schools and shooting guns? I can't say we're gonna get demonetized.
And all I'm just saying, it felt, it just felt like the Republicans just are so far removed from what we deem reality. And let me say, by no stretch of the imagination am I saying I'm a Democrat. I don't like either party, but the Republicans are so far removed from what we even deem as some type of freedom in America, and like what we believe in each other. We believe in the betterment of each other. The Republican Party has been reimagined as this white racist, and I know those are the left guys, the far left, but it's like your whole far right.
Because how many of the borders,
whatever y'all are, whatever y'all are.
Like,
but
the racist people, far right, far left is progressive, but people who's like off the chart, like leftist.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like y'all are so far removed, and that's what the Republicans represent to me.
Right, but you know what I think, like, to build on that statement, like, of course they definitely play into people's fears, but I think what's most importantly is just how they choose to go about the situation. And what, to you guys' point, they take as far as using and running with to help their illogical thinking, you know? And I think that's something that's really interesting, because at the end of the day, crime is always going to be profitable, and to basically criminalize more people, more groups is always going to be, again, profitable. And also gonna, you know, feed into that narrative if they need to even make other groups seem dangerous. Because I mean, we've seen this with Black people. We'll continue to see it with Black people, and it's like you're adding another group, you know, to be scared of, and you should be blaming for taking your jobs. When during the State of the State, which surprised me the most, was when Biden was saying we're going to keep our money in America and pay American companies to continue like building our roads and our highways and stuff like that, or like building products. And I was just thrown off, because it's kind of like, why are we as taxpayers giving all these tax cuts to these corporations that are making a profit, offering us wages that we barely can, you know, adjust to the cost of living? They're changing prices on us, you know, but they also are going out and using money to hire on cheaper labor from other countries. And that, to me, is obviously always a part of the conversation when it comes to like, when we really think about like the arguments that are being made against a group of people who are literally coming to America for a better life. For a lot of the Republican families and stuff like that, for their families who came to America, came here for a better life. It's just interesting. And then it's also like telling that group of people, like, you don't have anything good to offer America, when we all know. And I think one thing he kind of did hit the nail on the head or whatever, is that diversity is just so important. And it not only does it, I mean, unfortunately, fuel capitalism, but the diversity of people, experiences, everything just continues to push a country in a better position, rather than being stuck in one place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're opening up the doors for more ideas, you know what I'm saying? And then it also, on a flip side, if we were in the East or whatever, Eastern country or whatever, it would also encourage us to really take in consideration the lived experiences of other people, and the fact that they came here to teach us and put us on when we're not, the stereotype, we're not traveling enough as Americans. Like, it's just so interesting to me, like, all the ignorance and stuff like that. But to your point, I just think Republicans just do a good job of taking an issue, making it larger than what it needs to be, and then pushing laws to help again keep the rich.
Right. Just like gun violence, like
that's it.
Republicans love to push that the Democrats are the one letting criminals run loose, and that we have our streets are just roaming with criminals, and people are getting murdered. But then you look at gun violence rates, and the states that have the highest gun violence are red states.
Facts.
And it's like you talk about immigration. Well, what states what border states are red states? How many of the border states are red states? And then look at the amount of politicians that are anti-immigration or over here talking about quote unquote migrant crime. The numbers don't match y'all narrative.
Right.
It's like Republicans are just fear-based antics, tapping into people who don't really have any communication with these groups. Only time they see them is on the news, on social media. So then you're tapping into their fear of the unknown, giving them you just got these. I don't even want to say what Trump be calling them, coming over the border. Right. And it's just like you're just grooming them to be scared of a threat that if you ask them, oh, when's the last time you even seen a black person? Or when's the last time you even talked to a Mexican? They were like, never. Maybe. Yeah. Like, it's like, it's just.
And I don't want it to always be, like we're blaming the Republicans because, like I just said, Joe Biden, very strong political speech, but the average American and the working American is still struggling. Like the cost of food is outrageous. Y'all understand that?
Yeah, Biden
we all buy groceries.
Oh my! Don't get me started on groceries.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't get me started on
groceries.
About
groceries.
So there's still a lot of things that you Democrats, like y'all are not perfect too. Y'all are not. Y'all just seem the closest to what we can maybe achieve. Oh, we have to go with this. So Joe Biden was a very strong political speech, and hopefully
it helped. Well, it probably did it.
Democrats be acting like they just want to be Republicans so bad.
Oh,
they're like, I want to be y'all, but I can't. My mom gonna say something. That's right. It's like
something's like hanging on there more. Like they got a moral compass.
Well,